Now, fret crowning. This is also the most important part of this job. Reapply. This is the 5th or 6th time. Reapply your permanent marker. If you're feeling adventurous, change the color even. Now, crowning the frets. You have several options, and most of them are wrong. We've experimented and played with those fretting files that are basically a file with the teeth cut inside of a curve, and that curve fits over a fret. And the problem with them is if it's not exactly the right size, if it's not exactly the same size as your fret, you're only going to touch the top, you're not going to touch the sides. You're only going to touch the sides and dig into your fretboard. Also, you can't see what you're doing, so you've got the shape over the fret, and if you over egg it at the ends, you're going to lower the fret below where it needs to be, and you have to re-level it. I hate them with a passion. The number of fret jobs I've had to do where I've redone them for people, where that has happened, it's given us a lot of fret jobs, but I'd rather it was done properly in the first place. So we use traditional triangular crowning files that have a safe edge ground on them, and these are perfect. This is mine. I've been playing around with copper leaf recently, and essentially you put the file at an angle and move it along in a straight line, the opposite angle on the other side. I am not rounding the fret over. What I'm doing is basically creating a flat top and two flat sides. Essentially, it's a Mayan pyramid with a sacrificial platform at the top. Two flat edges, one flat top. It will be slightly rounded over during the finishing stage, during the sanding. And if you do it in nice, clean strokes, it leaves minimal scratches. Whereas if you go backwards and forwards and all of that, there's issues. Now, the other thing that has changed in the way I do things, I used to leave a line down the center of the fret that was about 1 millimeter wide. I now go for a much narrower line, 0.5 millimeter, something like that. The sharper the fret is, the better the intonation is, period. There is nothing else more important in a guitar than the intonation. Let's give you a close-up. So here you can see my sexy and perfectly rounded over fret end. There we go, really small line. This file got a little bit of metal caught in there, and decided to start cutting through my double layers of tape. Always be aware. Do you know what? There isn't a double layer of tape there. No wonder. I missed one. There we go. Okay. So here we go again. It's at an angle. and you want to keep it at that angle. Something that people do is they often will go like that, which leaves it fat in the middle and pins it at the ends, and you really don't want that. Concentrate on keeping the file absolutely square to the fret. There you go. Now, seeing as this is a tutorial and you don't want to watch this for too long, I'm going to leave the rest of these frets for a minute. And while we're focused in here, I'll show you the next stage. We do have some lines now down the edges of these frets, and we do need to sand them out. You have one option, which is an ultra fine file. This would take days to crown frets, and we don't even I don't know when this video is going live, but I'm still not decided whether we should sell these or not. But essentially, this little baby is as fine as sandpaper, and this can be used to get off some of the marks. The next stage is paper. Now, something I do a lot is I get a credit card blank. This is actually also a glue, I use them to spread glue, and wrap 4, 6, 800 grit paper around the edge. And that is very, very, very good. Very good at getting me an excellent polish down the side of the frets. And the shinier and better the polish is on your frets, the better the final finish, and the better the sorry, that was a silly statement. The better the final polish, the shinier it is, the smoother it is, and the better it plays for your musician. The whole fretboard is done now, and the sides have been polished except for that little bit there. There we go. Alright, so the next thing to do is take your 600 grit wet and dry paper, and I fold it in 3 like so, and if you wrap that around your finger, it basically runs along the frets, dropping in between each fret as you go. I'm taking off such minuscule amounts of material here that we're not going to change or cause any single fret to be low or high or anything like that. And at this stage you also do see the odd little bit that needs to be just tidied up a fraction. This time I've got the sandpaper wrapped around itself to create a tool. Right, 600 grit there. Clean the excess off, and then it's time for the fret rubbers. We do them coarse, medium, fine, and super fine. And to be honest, I think I only really need, in this case, to go up through from fine to superfine. Now our fret polishing rubbers, I'm just going through my masking tape there. Let's just replace that entirely. Our fret polishing rubbers are wonderful things. They're a lot more intuitive than others. They will form themselves around the fret to a certain extent, rather than forcing you to go in at every single angle. Yeah. I'm getting a very, very high gloss just from the fine. The superfine isn't actually even really needed, to be honest, in this particular case, because we've not had any massive scratches from the leveling files, or and I didn't slip with the crowning file. When you're crowning, you can sometimes slip over the top, and that causes scratches over there. It's very annoying when that does happen. But yeah. So essentially I have a fair few frets to do like this. There are other options. You can use a buffing wheel, and you can use little miniature buffing wheels on Dremels with jeweler's rouge and stuff like that. I've done videos using those in the past, and I prefer this. I like this because it's just a little bit of elbow grease, but it's not particularly noisy. You don't have to wear goggles or anything like that, and you're in control, really. If you want to be a bit faster, you can go along like this. In fact, to be honest, there's no real reason why this isn't as valid of a method. It's not getting it quite as precisely as I would like, so along we go. Anyway, I'm going to leave you now. I'm going to do the wow, this superfine is just superfine. Yeah, let me finish with the fine first. Here we are. They do warm up quite a bit, and you don't want to run the risk of delaminating the glue underneath. Now, at this stage, the final little touch on my fret ends. Finally, off comes all the masking tape. Always remember to clean that out as well. Sublime. Yeah, I'm quite proud of this. I've cleaned my hands. At this stage, you don't want Black fingers. Okay, our frets are done. Our frets are leveled, crowned, and polished. Next up is the fretboard. And we have a fretboard cleaner and restorative set. There are no nasty bits and pieces in here. I love that little lock. People generally use something called lemon oil. And it is called lemon oil because it smells of lemon, not because it has anything else to do with lemons whatsoever. It is basically 75% or more white spirit, thinners, petroleum products. I really don't like dipping my fingers in petroleum distillates. Do you? So anyway, we've formulated this lovely lemon-scented, because our users insisted, fretboard cleaner. And you can see it's doing the job very well. And smells nice, too. Okay. Now the last thing you want is a very, very dry fretboard. So after it's cleaned, you want to put more moisture in, and we traditionally do that by oiling it. Now lemon oil is very, very thin, and it penetrates very, very deeply. We have a slightly thicker formulation, and that is our fretboard restorative. There we go. So you can see it's taken off a load of crap. Fretboard restorative, same thing, no petroleum products or anything like that. Also lemon scented. And this penetrates, but the best way to apply it is to leave it sitting on the on the board for a little while longer. There's not as much. It doesn't evaporate the same way that lemon oil does. So we want to leave it sitting there for a while to sink in. And you can see the difference. Wood just loves it. You only need to leave it on for a couple of minutes, and once you're done, just rub all of the excess off, and you have a perfectly clean, beautiful fretboard. It smells nice. And here we have it. The frets are, flat, crowned, perfect. Fretboard's nice and pretty. Time to shim the nut.